The Terrifier franchise is known for its iconic clown and cryptic lore, but most fans continue to come back for one thing: the gore. If it's the hacksaw scene from the original flick or the bedroom sequence from the sequel, there's enough madness in this franchise to get any gorehound howling. In today's video, I'm going to try to predict how many victims Arthur Claus will claim in his third big screen outing. Now let's get into it. Hey everybody, I'm not Dead Meat, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Throughout the various pieces of Terrifier 3's marketing, we've only seen mere teases of the horrific onslaught Art the Clown is going to ravage upon Miles County. Between set photos and teaser trailers, we definitely have enough to start making some educated guesses, which will make today's video a little different than your average Dead Meat episode. According to Mr. Janice's count, there are 10 deaths in the first Terrifier and 27 in the sequel. He did, however, include Art the Clown on both of those counts, so let's just say 9 and 26, considering the fact that this new film is on the way with Art obviously still alive. Somehow. If we're following Randy's rules from Scream 3, this film should have a higher body count and the slasher should be nearly indestructible. Well, we can certainly cross one of those things off the list. With Terrifier 3 clocking in at 2 hours and 5 minutes, it is a little shorter than the previous film, meaning it might not top the sequel's body count. I wouldn't be shocked if we got a number that was similar to Terrifier 2's 26, but again, these movies are so unpredictable, it's tough to say. What we can talk about is what we've seen from the teasers, trailers, and stills, where we definitely see a few folks that don't stand a chance. The first bit of marketing we got for Terrifier 3 was back in November of last year, when the threequel was teased to be Christmas themed. Here we see a little girl come down the stairs after hearing some commotion. She sees the man in the big red suit and yells, "Santa! Oh my God!" Instead of jolly old Saint Nick, though, it's revealed that it's actually Arthur Claus with a big axe. Major bummer for little Juliet here. After that sick new title card appears, Art enjoys some milk and cookies next to blood-soaked walls. It's already been confirmed that none of this footage will appear in Terrifier 3, as Art the Clown actor David Howard Thornton recently confirmed in a new interview. He says this scene from the teaser was restructured for the actual film and only based on an idea back in early 2023 when they shot it. We've even seen some footage of the actual sequence in question from the new trailers. Chrissy Fox plays Juliet's mother, Jennifer. We very clearly see her getting the axe from Art in this shot here. I can confidently say that she's not gonna make it through this one alive. Speaking of controversy, I'm also pretty confident that Juliet, played by actress Luciana Vandette, is a goner too. I don't think David or Damien would call this scene controversial if Art wasn't going to plant that axe in her head. That's too confirmed in my book. We've seen some scenes in the trailer that take place right where we left off from Terrifier 2 at the Miles County Psychiatric Hospital. We already know from that film that a nurse played by Leah Voicey and Burke here are working late watching over Victoria Hayes. After she gives birth to Art's severed head, she appears to escape, meaning these two characters don't have long for this world. We saw this shot from the trailer of Burke getting his face ripped apart by Vicky as Art's decapitated body comes to collect his severed head. Jericho even confirmed his fate in an interview earlier this year, where he said verbatim, "I don't last very long," and talked about having to undergo a facial prosthetic. My guess for this sequence is that the nurse is already going to be dead when Burke comes down the hall to see what all the commotion is about. He finds Vicky eating her intestines in this shot here and gets attacked as well. Burke will likely suffer the same fate as Victoria, getting his face mangled and torn apart. Damn, Vicky, you really only have that one trick up your sleeve, huh? You did the same thing to Monica Brown in the first Terrifier. Come up with something new! Although Monica Brown has not been confirmed dead yet, I think we can safely add Chris Jericho's Burke to the list. I will add that we also get a sequence that features Stephen Cofield Jr. as Officer Evans, a younger looking police officer likely investigating the Terrifier attraction looking for Art's body. I think he's gonna find it because it appears to come back to life here and attack him, putting the character on the count. I think Art's going to push him through the same hole in the ground that Sienna initially fell through in Terrifier 2. He might fall and snap his neck. I know that sounds tame for Terrifier, but give headless Art the Clown a break. How do you expect the goofy fella to do a bedroom scene on this dude without eyes? I imagine this is gonna be something a little more chilled out, all things considered, but I'm sure we'll get some nasty gore. Maybe a spine sticking out of his neck skin. Delicious. After Art retrieves his head and picks up his new girlfriend, Vicky and Art are seen in this shot here, looking at someone on the bus. In the cast list, there's a credit for a side character named Woman on Bus, who I think will have the misfortune of running into this on her early commute to work. Considering that we haven't seen this character yet, it's tough to make an argument for her being a definite death. This might just be a one-off gag where the character gets freaked out and runs away upon seeing these disgusting looking vagabonds. Victoria Hayes is also a big maybe for me. We don't see much of her in the trailer besides the scenes at the psychiatric hospital. It makes me think that these scenes here that feature her in a bloody bathtub will be some sort of satanic sacrifice to bring Art the Clown back to his true form. She already birthed out his head, so why not freshen up the body too? God, that's gross. Vicky will sit on the maybe list for now. Next up is this scene in a dusty, cobweb-laden attic. Art appears to have been sitting here for the entirety of that 5-year time jump when Eddie stumbles upon him. Played by actor Bradley Stryker, Eddie seems to be the victim of the box cutter from this shot here. Is that not the most evil shot of Art the Clown ever? Oh my god. Art has the guy pinned down by the neck in this shot, so it's looking pretty grim for the high-vis jacket-wearing tradesman. Dude probably just saw something creepy in this abandoned house and went to investigate. If I've learned anything from horror movies, it's that you should never investigate a strange noise, or a creepy clown staring out of windows doing a Black Christmas homage. Come on, Eddie, get with the program! At some point, Art is going to get his iconic Santa suit and sliced off beard, which indicates more death. Earlier in the year, Bloody Disgusting announced that Rob Zombie favorite Daniel Roebuck would be joining the cast of Terrifier 3 to play Santa Claus. We got to see a first look at him here, where he's drinking a beer at the bar, probably after a long day of listening to Christmas wishes. Stupid kids! We get a quick flash from the trailer of the guy in pain as exhaust fumes rise in front of him. My guess is that Art saw his shiny red suit through the window, wanted to get up for himself, and cut the dude in half with a chainsaw. I am curious to see how Daniel takes the costume off before getting sliced in half though. Now obviously we've seen Art wield a chainsaw in this trailer, but we already know he's attacking other characters with it that we will definitely get to in a second here. So why would I guess that he uses the weapon in this shot? Well, Art the Clown usually collects weapons throughout these movies, as we saw especially in Terrifier 2. If you remember, Art the Clown steals acid from the morgue at the beginning of the sequel, only to throw it in Brooke's face during the third act. Speaking of Brooke, here she is popping into the Terrifier 3 trailer. I think our pal Eddie from earlier could be cutting down trees with a chainsaw, but after Art takes him out in the attic, I think the silly clown will steal it for himself. Leatherface would be so proud. He'll probably make a mess of Daniel at the bar, definitely adding another body to the count. Art will likely give him a big shave here too, cutting off his beard and skin, draping it around his neck. Unless Santa Claus is getting some sort of sexual favor from a machine that emits exhaust, I think the dude is done for here. One of the most memorable scenes from the trailer is Art pretending to be a mall Santa and giving out toys to kids. No, seriously, look, he's actually giving toys to the children. This is a wholesome family Christmas movie. Some voice lines in the trailer tell us that the parents aren't too happy about his bloody and creepy appearance, however. There's a ton of characters in the cast list credited as angry parents too. While I'm sure this scene is going to be pure chaos, I don't think it's going to be as grim as most people think it will. Art will pass out some toys to the children, but will likely get thrown out after the real mall Santa shows up. In the cast list, another actor by the name of Chip Carrier is credited as Mall Santa, making me think that Art will be thwarted as a phony before any carnage can ensue. He might be chaotic evil, but Art's not an idiot. He knows when he's outnumbered, and I don't think any of these characters will go the way of Daniel Roebuck or poor Eddie. Just a lot of screaming parents and pissed off security. Feeling bloodthirsty that night, Art makes his way to the Beta Delta Iota sorority house with his trusty chainsaw. He slices and dices Mia and Cole, two of Jonathan's acquaintances. From their character descriptions, we learned that Mia and Cole are an obnoxious young couple who like to bone in this pubic hair infested bathroom. How romantic. After all of the coverage we've seen of this shower sequence, I think this will not only be the big showcase scene of Terrifier 3, but also definitely add 2 more bodies to the count. Or should I say pieces of flesh? Considering this random leg in this shot from the teaser trailer, I don't think these characters are making it, man.
Game over, man. It's game over.
We also learned that Mia has a roommate named Alexa, but I don't think she's an actual character in this movie. That might just be a reference to Alexa Blair Robertson, the actress portraying Mia. The fictional Alexa made the right decision to go home on winter break, let me tell ya. That covers the confirmed, but I do have a few more guesses considering a couple other characters we've sort of already met. Let me explain. From the same casting call where we learned about Mia and Cole, we also got descriptions of Greg and Jessica, Sienna's aunt and uncle who likely taken our heroes after Barbara's death in Terrifier 2. Sienna appears to be living with them while Jonathan is away at college. Their supporting leads villains that I don't think will make it through this movie. They have way too wholesome of character descriptions to live through a Damien Leone picture. I have a feeling it'll be their intestines adorning this Christmas tree from the first poster. They also have a daughter named Gabby, but I think she might be a survivor. She's described as curious and looks up to Sienna as a role model. I could see her almost being a final girl in training. Maybe she even helps save the day by pulling a Tommy Jarvis in Act 3. I just don't think Art's going to take out two little girls in the same movie. That's gonna lose its shock value immediately after it happens. Like if Art just kept cutting girls in half in Terrifier 1, it would probably get old at some point. This isn't a Rob Zombie flick. As for the Shaw siblings, I have no evidence to suggest that either of them will meet their end in Terrifier 3. Although my conspiracy theory for a while now has been that Jonathan won't make it out alive. He suffered a similar fate to Victoria Hayes at the end of Terrifier 2, getting mutilated by Art the Clown. Artsy Fartsy was munching on the little dude's fingies. It makes me think that he might turn to the dark side at some point in the future. That's all just a symmetrical theory for now though. From the marketing alone so far, I count 9 confirmed victims. 5 males and 4 females. This is a similar ratio to the other Terrifier films where Art's victims are majority male characters. I might be putting my foot in my mouth by saying this, but I don't think the number of victims will be greater than Terrifier 2's 26. I do believe that the quality of every sequence will be higher than the previous 2 flicks though, as the Terrifier team had a lot more resources and a bigger budget to play around with on this one. Franchise creator Damien Leone talks about having a skeleton crew on the last 2 films that made those indie projects labors of love. Terrifier 3, however, looks like it got the Hollywood treatment without the censorship. The best of both worlds, one might say. I've always valued quality over quantity personally, so this doesn't bug me much. What are your predictions for the body count in Terrifier 3? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all for watching, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.